thing is, man, a lot of them guys from city kickboxing, a lot of these guys, man, been getting beat with the exception of Carlos Ulberg, man, but a lot of them guys.
And you thought he was gonna lose if he had fought Dominick Reyes, which I highly disagree.
Yeah,
I think that fight canceled.
Oh yeah,
that fight been canceled for a month. One of them got injured. I think Carlos pulled out before something. But I'm saying Carlos Ulberg is handmade to beat Dominick Reyes right now. He's a sniper. He don't get hit. I mean, you be knocked out before you even know what's going on. He not loading up on punches. His footwork, his head movement. And meanwhile, Dominick Reyes, at this point, he just got knocked out by a pure jiu-jitsu guy.
With a bunch of power who probably can knock out Carlos.
Who never land that punch on anybody else.
You gotta understand.
No.
You gotta understand, the reason why I'm not really sold on Carlos.
I ain't saying he's gonna be the champion. I'm just saying he can beat Dominick Reyes right now.
I don't think so.
You got a chinny fighter who been getting knocked out by any and everybody, and you got a person who got several knockout wins in a row. And he coming from a professional kickboxing background. What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is, look who he's been knocked out by. He's been knocked out by Ron Spann. He's one of the pound for pound hardest hitters in the UFC. You got knocked out by Jan. You got knocked out by Erie.
But those are still knockouts that count against you.
Can Carlos beat any of those guys?
He don't have to, because he wasn't the one up there fighting them. But I'm gonna tell you what, if you beat a fighter like Dominick Reyes and you make it up there, you're more confident, and that increase your chance of knocking one of them dudes out. Because Jan on his way out the door. So realistically,
we also see Carlos get beat by Kennedy. We also see him get beat by
we also saw him shake back from getting knocked out, and Dominick Reyes didn't.
But he hasn't fought nobody in the top 15 yet. You gotta understand, when you fighting people outside the top 15, you should be picking up wins and making
Dominick Reyes might not even be able to do that right now.
You don't think Dominick Reyes can beat somebody outside the top 15?
Okay, Khalil Roundtree just got in the top 10. You think that a year ago?
No.
Exactly.
Khalil might be champion.
It's a few more of them dudes.
He might be champion when
it's a few more of them dudes I can name who just barely cracked the top 10. Or I'm gonna be real, Dustin Jacoby. You think Dominick Reyes beat him?
Yes.
Number 15.
Yes, I think Dominick Reyes can beat him. Let me say this, and I've been saying this. It depends. Because I say Dominick Reyes and some of these other guys who are on losing streaks. I said this. I said what they need to do, what their path should be, is to fight some mediocre people, and then they get on the win streak.
A year ago, Dustin Jacoby was on a win streak until he got robbed. Well, it wasn't Khalil's fault, but the judges felt like he won that fight. And if it wasn't for that, he was on a win streak.
And that's what happened. And I said the same thing about Cody Garbrandt. I said, get on the win. I said 1 or 2 fights, build your confidence back up. I mean, obviously, Dominick Reyes, he got the knockout losses.
But I'm going to say this.
Let me ask you this. What if Dominick Reyes get an easy win over somebody outside top 15?
But Dustin Jacoby ain't an easy win, is what I'm telling you. We got to go lower than this. Look at number 11 is Ryan Spann. 12 is Alonzo Minifield. 13 is Azamat. Dominick Reyes is 14, and 15 right now is Dustin Jacoby. Dominick can't beat none of them dudes. He can't beat none of them. And if you got knocked out by Ryan Spann, you getting retired by Alonzo. You getting retired by Azamat. And Dustin show up on certain people, and at the point that Dominick is in his career right now, Dustin embarrasses Dominick Reyes. Dominick can win, but he got to fight somebody lower than that. I don't know what the rankings look like on who lower than that, but he got to fight that Asian dude. He got to fight Da-Un Jun. No, is that his name?
Yeah.
He a light heavyweight. He fight at light heavyweight now.
He dangerous. He a knockout guy too, man. He a dangerous guy too. He's a big, powerful guy.
But I'm saying he lost a few fights in a row now. He kind of struggling at this point in his career. So
I think the issue Dominick Reyes he's steady fighting these tough guys back to back, and it's just like you piling up these losses, man, and it's like, bro, it's hurting your confidence.
Exactly.
But if you can go on a win streak and like actually fight somebody who's on a losing streak.
No, or look, you got people out there like number 20 is Kennedy Njeku. I wouldn't even put him in there against Vitor Petrino. I'm gonna be real.
Your boy, man, Kutalaba.
He's ranked right under him. I was just finna say it. Number 22 is Dominick.
That'd be a great fight for
him. And number 23 is
Kutalaba. If Dominick Reyes can't beat a Kutalaba, then I don't know what to say, man.
And look, this is the reality. That's what Kutalaba is there for. Whenever you want somebody to get back on track and they had an embarrassing loss or they need to gain some momentum and get their confidence back, you bring Kutalaba back, and then he lose a few fights, he get cut from the UFC, and then when you got somebody you want to build up again, then you throw Kutalaba back in that thing. Other than that, bro, or look, maybe Jimmy Crute, look, Devin Clark.
Devin might win Clark. No, he can't.
But it depends, because Devin, what about somebody like Nego Mariano?
Yeah.
That's the fight they need to make, man, right there. They need to stop fighting freaking...
But when it's said and done,
Yuri, and like, what are you doing, man?
When it's said and done, Dominick Reyes gonna be a legend regardless. He got the one fight that matters. He actually beat Jon in some kind of way. He won 4 rounds and lost 1 round. So
I'm gonna tell you why
Jon Jones. I'm
gonna tell you why that's not necessarily true. The reality is this: yes, in the eyes of the people, we all saw what happened, but in the eyes of history, only one person gonna get a statue. Only one person name gonna be on that banner.
I mean, I agree with that. No, I agree with that, but it's also other things like you gotta understand. You got social media. You understand? You got the champions. You got people who are in the history books. But you also got people or fighters who hardcore fans look up to and say, oh, he really beat that guy. You got guys like TJ Dillashaw is in the history books, right? But we know what he was doing and how he was able to beat Cody. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can be in the history books, bro, but we also, as hardcore fans, can say, oh, but we know who really won that fight too. It's like a virtual history book that fans look at, bro, and it's like, okay, we know who really won that fight, even though he's not in the actual history books. But this person actually should have won that fight. Because even to this day, when we do a poll, when we say who won, Jon Jones or Dominick Reyes, it's always 50-50, man.
Let me tell you something. You right, but things were being right where it really don't weigh that much because of this.
Because Dominick Reyes, he can't feed his family because of that.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I'm sure he getting paid some money from that fight, pay-per-view points and stuff. But realistically, how much money would you gonna make from being a champion? What kind of sponsorships and deals? Your financial situation would be so much. But it wasn't his fault now that he lost it. I'm not blaming him. But this is the thing. We talked about this. Dominick Reyes, let's get rid of Jon Jones. He had 2 more opportunities after that to become a contender and get a belt. And
what would happen if Jon Jones, if they would have gave him an L for that Reyes fight? You know what I'm saying? You don't think he would lost confidence?
We can't talk about that. We got to talk about the fact that afterwards, Dominick Reyes had 2 opportunities.
No. I'm gonna be honest.
We can only talk about what actually did happen.
But I'm saying, yeah, we know Dominick Reyes won a decision.
No, but I'm talking about officially, he did not win though.
He didn't win officially, but we know who should have won though. We got to look at the integrity of the sport too, man, because we can look
There is none, and that's the whole point.
But Jon Jones went on to fight a bunch of dangerous people after Dominick Reyes.
And
Thiago Santos.
And he went on to
fight. You gotta
say,
look, what if Jon Jones, what if they would have gave him an L and he would have...
What if came the Conqueror, and let's go to another timeline and say, what if this would have happened, what if that would have happened? I tell you what did happen. Dominick Reyes got 2 more opportunities to fight for the belt, to become a number 1 contender and fight for the belt. And he lost both of them. And he was winning both of those fights before he lost. That ain't had nothing to do with Jon. Now, it does have something to do with Jon Jones mentally, but at the end of the day, you're a grown man, and when you in there fighting, you don't get to keep losing and going back to like the Jon Jones thing. Jon Jones kept winning. I know it's messed up, man. I know it ain't fair, but I'm saying the reality is you still had 2 more opportunities. It goes back to what we just talked about Max. I feel like Max won the second fight against Volkanovski. He definitely lost the first fight. Okay, so now the fact of the matter is all that don't mean nothing if you get a third fight. So the reality is Max had an opportunity after being screwed over to get what he said was rightfully his. Dominick Reyes had an opportunity, 2 opportunities, and then they really was feeding him Ryan Spann. They thought he was going to get an easy win, and then he would use that momentum and they were probably just going to give him another name, and if he won that fight, he could be fighting right for the title again. So he really had 3 opportunities. 3. And I'm not blaming him for getting screwed by the judges. That was completely out of his control. He did what he had to do for 25 minutes, and it was 3 people who felt like they saw something else. I don't know. But he had 3 opportunities after that. And Jon Jones had more than 3 fights after that. He won all of them.
And you don't think that Jon Jones, the more he accomplished, in some kind of way, it makes Reyes look good? The more he accomplished, because if a lot of people think Reyes beat Jon Jones, Jon go up and beat Tom Aspinall.
You know why it don't matter? Because it goes back to Alexander Gustafsson and Jon Jones. If they had a rematch, what was going to happen? More than likely, it wasn't going 25 minutes, and more than likely, somebody was going to get finished, and more than likely, it wasn't going to be Jon Jones. That's why it really don't matter in the big scheme of things. I know it's messed up, but the reality is, if he had even gotten a rematch, he was going to get finished. He was going to get throttled.
How was he going to get finished?
Because Jon Jones was going to have a point to prove. He couldn't take Alex down the first time either, and we saw what happened in the rematch.
He was washed up the second fight, man. Gustafsson was...
He couldn't have been that washed up. He earned a title fight over everybody else.
Didn't Anthony Smith take him down and submit him? Like, Gustafsson was washed up.
But at the time, he was a number 1 contender, so that means he was better than everybody else, which means he deserved to be there. He wasn't washed up in that moment. He was a number 1 contender. He earned his second title, third title fight.
I don't think he earned that, man.
Well, there was some level of, you did have a close fight that was controversial, so if you just do this much, you get a title fight. Dominick Reyes was in the same boat, and he still wasn't able to swim the shore at the end of the day. And that ain't on Jon Jones. It ain't fair. It ain't right, man. But we can't be looking at Jon Jones like he did something wrong. We need to be looking at these judges. That's another thing. Jon Jones been taking the heat for something that he can't control either. Jon Jones didn't make nobody do nothing. Those judges decided that. So it's so funny how Jon Jones get all the hate when Jon Jones didn't go and score his own fight and say, I think I won 3-2. Bruh, those judges decided that, and for some reason, we just let them get a free pass, as always in MMA.